me. This being Independence Day weekend, we celebrate things that make America the beautiful place that we live. And I'm guessing you're all thinking, I'm going to talk about the glories of independence and freedom. And all of those are very honorable things to talk about. They're so important, and just we all need to learn our lessons, and every day can be a history lesson. I'm not particularly big on history, so I was a little bit slow to catch on to Hamilton, which everybody's been raving about, but since it was on Disney Plus this weekend, I watched it, because I thought, well, I'm not really that into history. I'm not really into rap, because some of it's angry, and actually you have to listen really fast, which isn't my strong suit. And that's what I thought Hamilton was about. But I did watch it, and it captivated me. So I highly recommend it. But that was yet another history lesson about how this country was built. And we have every reason to be proud of this country, even at this time when we're going through some pretty painful growing lessons. But today, actually, I want to talk about friendships. Today, July 5th, is the birthday of one of my dearest friends, Kathleen, who I've been best friends with since 2nd grade, when she first came to our school. We've been through thick and thin. We've remained close all through the years. Even in high school, our interests were really quite different. We have very different interests there, but we always came together, and she headed off for university. I headed off for some career choices. I moved states away and a country away. But all through this, we've always remained really close. And even if we haven't talked for a while, as soon as we chat, we just know we're just right there connected again. It's just as if we had just spoken. And we know that we're friends who will always be there for each other. It's very comforting. Earlier this week, I celebrated the birthday of Dominique, and she's my dear friend from England. I met her when our children were really young, and we have both moved to England from different countries. We both had young children about the same age. Both of our husbands were in the Royal Navy, and we just connected. We're quite different in a lot of ways, in quite a few ways. Yet, in some ways, we live kind of parallel lives, and we have shared values. And it's because of that, and the other mysteries that are friendships, that we just really get each other. We usually talk at least once a week, and that's even after being back in the States for 8 years. And if either of us is upset, we just kind of know, and we'll shoot each other a text or a message just to say, are you okay? We just kind of have that connection. Other friends that I met in England, Deborah and Claire, we met when our children were young as well. And our families grew up together. And there was just such a bond, that sharing of the heartstrings of your children and their children, you know, they just become such a part of your whole history. And it's just so emotional and so special. Next week, I celebrate my sister Sherry's birthday. She's my sister and my friend. Oftentimes, your siblings, your spouse, your children, your parents, or other relatives are also your friends. You have a shared history and an understanding of where you came from and what made you, you. These friendships can also be some of the most challenging. It's nothing like family sometimes. And I think part of that is because of the closeness that you have, that sometimes either of you can push those boundaries just a little bit because you know it's safe. And sometimes that can ruffle from some feathers. But hopefully, those are the life bonds that will help smooth you over those rough times to bring you together even stronger. I'm blessed with friends here in the Spiritualist Church, and others. But we share the same or similar beliefs and interest. And we just help each other grow. We're just there for each other. And we're always lifting each other up and helping us with our growth and our trust. And we're kind of like each other's tribe. And that's really special. Some friends you meet because you share professions, hobbies, interests, or for some other reasons, clubs, organizations. I've made friends in many places that I've lived. As you all who know me, know I don't have any problems chatting with people. Sometimes you meet someone and you just click, but you rarely know upon meeting these new friends which ones are there for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. That just kind of develops over time. In getting to know your new friends, what do you normally do? Well, that's a normal thing to do. You ask them questions, right? Like, what do? What's the best way to reach you or get in contact with you? Where did you used to live? What have you done before? What's been your life? You notice things like their voice, their mannerisms. You feel a sense about them. Sometimes you notice how they smell, like if they wear the same perfume often. Thankfully, we don't have too many people that smell of cigarettes and cigars and pipes anymore. That's a good blessing. Another type of friend is having one in spirit, or shall I say, friends, as in plural. You have the divine, spirit guides, angels, those that have passed and want to come visit with you. And how comforting it is to know that you walk with spirit, to have that guidance, that protection. That's huge. And how comforting it is to get a visit and a message from a loved one. It's always easy to connect with spirit. And some of you might chuckle with me saying that. But it's always easy to connect with spirit. They're there for you, and they want to connect with you. All you have to do is ask. That's it. Just ask. And you need to ask because you have free will. So and they won't interfere with you, but as soon as you ask, or you ask them to walk with you, to be there with you, and you with them, they're just there for you. And you can usually kind of get a sense of them being there. You kind of like, get like a little warmth in your body, or just that kind of a feeling or sensation that you know that you've called them close and they're really with you, that they're really integrated with you. And you just feel that connection. But then there's the trickier part, which isn't always easy. And that part, and trust me, I have known this story, that part is listening, just as you would to a friend. Ask the questions you would, as you would to a new friend. Hello, welcome. Can you tell me your name? Why are you here? Are you here for me, or to deliver a message to someone else? Who are you? Are you a spirit guide? Angel? Past loved one? How will I know when you are around me rather than it being someone else? So what can you show me? That's your sign. So can you show me a sign, or like give me a little vision, or maybe a certain smell that reminds you of a loved one, whether it's cinnamon baking rolls, or maybe grandpa's pipe smoke or something. Maybe I hear a song in my head, as I know someone's very gifted with hearing songs, or hear a song on a radio that would remind me. Give me a feeling in my body or some kind of sensation. How would I know? Show me a sign that I will know that this is you whenever I sense you near me. And these sensations are called your clairs. Your clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyance, and the others. And you have them. Often you may have all of them, but most of the time you'll just have some that are much stronger in you than others. So practice tuning in. You can practice when you go someplace that just doesn't feel right. We've all been in those places where it just kind of feels a bit, do you feel a little edgy, or do you get like a little funny tummy? Do you get hair standing up on your arms, or like a sudden headache, or get chills? How are you receiving your message? Just practice with that. Because we're all energy. Albert Einstein said, we are all energy, and that's all there is. It's kind of short and to the point. Energy vibrates at different frequencies, and we all know that. You all know if you're trying to tune into a radio station, and I know you all have tried to do that. Some of you might even remember AM, which was very difficult to tune into. If you're not getting a clear signal that's being transmitted from that station, then you're not really tuning in. And then there's no clarity. And you can't really make any sense of it. And that's where meditation comes in, for trying to tune in with spirit, to allow that time and that space to be able to get that connection. Most people know that cell phones are on different frequencies. Verizon and T-Mobile are on one bandwidth, and then AT&T and Sprint on a different bandwidth. And that's why when you're out together, sometimes somebody can get a really good signal and the next person can't because they're on those different bandwidths. And so they're receiving different signals. In my neighborhood, Verizon gets the better signal. I live in the airport, near the airport, and the theory is that whatever the airport bandwidth is, that interferes with AT&T, or at least that's the theory. So I ask you, what's disturbing your frequencies? Are you too busy to meditate? Is it your monkey mind? Just have a look at that and see how you can deal with it and better tune in. Vibration and energy. You can quickly sense the vibration of someone who is happy or someone who is sad. And yes, sometimes you see it in their faces, and that lets you know you can empathize or sympathize. But sometimes you just sense it over the phone, or sometimes there's not even any physical contact. You also know how easy it is to pick up on someone's anger, or their depression, or their joy. You just feel it because you're tuned in. The blessing and the curse of some empaths is that they are too tuned in. And so they have a hard time because they're absorbing too much energy from other people. And that also needs work. That means some controlling and some boundary set and grounding. And we've all been around those who feel like they just suck the life out of us, or who lift us and inspire us. We call them either energy vampires or people with charisma, charm, and captivating. And who doesn't love to be around people that you can feel that charisma, that charm, and just be captivated by them? Some speakers you just can't help yourself but just be so drawn into because of that energy that they project. Sometimes you can get the same message from two different people, the same exact words, the same message, but you get it from two different people and you'll receive it differently. And that's because of the energy that they deliver it with and the tone in which they deliver it with. Oftentimes, the energy and the tone are just as important as the words that are being given. And we decide which friends we want to spend time with. And choosing wisely is very important to your health. We nurture those friendships. They are the flowers of our people garden. And they choose who they want to spend time with and how they want to nurture the friendship. We all know that one-way friendships, they're very draining. They're just very draining. And when we're truly interested in developing and maintaining a friendship, we put the time and effort into it. That's what we need to do with God, the divine spirit guides, to nurture our connections. And fortunately, they will meet us more than halfway. There is so much love for us there, and they're just asking to be connected with you. So just ask. You need to ask, because remember, it's your free will. So you just need to ask. And they delight in you. They just want to be with you. And speaking of independence, as we touched on earlier, true friendships give you independence. Friendships aren't meant to control you in any way. This is true with your earthly friends as well as your spirit friends. Just as you would ask a friend their opinion about a topic, or perhaps some guidance. What do you think about this? You can ask the divine. You'll get a much higher perspective from them than you will from your friends. And I'm sure you have great friends. But if you ask the divine and your spirit guides, they just have that higher perspective and can help give you that guiding way. But remember, it's your God-given right to have free will. So that's always up to you. It's your choice of who you listen to. The choice is yours. That's your responsibility. No one punishes you if you don't listen to the divine guidance. There's no listen to me or else, that kind of thing. It's just not there. It's just all loving and giving. But if you do listen, you'll get the easier or faster or better lessons path. They have a much better view, and they're happy to share it with you. And just as your friends are here to support you, helping you to grow along the way, God, the divine, is always, always there for you, helping you in whatever way you ask and is needed. One of the most important friends you can have is yourself. Being a friend to yourself is absolutely paramount. And some may say, well, that's obvious. Of course I'm my own best friend. Of course I love myself. But others, and there's many, find it a bit more difficult. And usually that's because of programming or events in childhoods, or who knows, maybe past life experiences. But whatever it is, you need to do the work as you would with any other friendship, is to work to be your own best friend. As your own best friends, look at the way you treat yourself. What does your self-talk look like? We'll start right there. Are you constantly criticizing yourself on how you could have done something better? Or, oh, I should have done that, or I should have done this. How often are you saying to yourself, hey, great job? You know, how often do you say, wow, I'm really pleased that I did that? I did really well, and you know, that was thoughtful, and I'm glad I followed through on that thoughtfulness, because you know, by saying that or doing whatever, that really made that person that happy. You know, how often are you giving your credit for the things that you actually do, that you're engaged in? Really observe. How are you talking to yourself? And to remember to treat yourself with kindness and grace. We're gentle souls. Our lives are gifts. So remember to treat it that way. As our own best friends, how do we feed ourselves? With nourishing food and lots of water? Do we exercise? Do we rest? Do we sleep enough? Most of the world is very sleep deprived. Definitely in America, but most of the world. Do we feed our souls with things that bring us joy? Or do we eat whatever's convenient because it's fast and it's handy? Or do we sit too much? Do we watch too much news and negativity? You can get to be a bit kind of sucked into it, so you have to watch yourself. Because you are what you consume. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. And that includes the company that you keep. So be a great gatekeeper for you, because you are your own best friend. Nurture your people garden and the garden of the divine. And these will help you just bloom into your most glorious ways, bringing joy to your heart and to the hearts of others. And in turn, that helps to lift the whole vibration of the world. We need more of that beauty. We need for each of us to bloom and grow, because by doing it individually, it just starts to radiate. We are meant to be interconnected. We are not meant to be an island. People in spirit are full of richness, and they'll teach us if you just let them. So reach for that which you do not know, and for that which you don't understand, because that's what's going to really enrich your life, is that growth. The happier and more fulfilled you are, the more you love, and the more love you've experienced, the more love you can give. And it says in the Bible that when you give your love, you will get back tenfold or more. And it makes sense. For those that live in love, they attract more love. And in spiritualism, we talk about the law of attraction. What you give out, what you expect, is what you bring into you. So, let me ask, what are you working on? What do you want to attract? What kind of vibrations are you sending out? What kind of radio signals are you sending out to attract? So invite yourself to sit in the garden, whether it's physically or just mentally, with the divine and the spirit guides, with the highest authentic energy, to be with them as your friends. Share with them your sorrows. It helps to lighten the load. And share with them your goals, to allow them to help you and to give you those little aha moments. Like, oh, I just had a good idea. Was that yours? Or was it gifted to you? Or things that just kind of pop up into your path. I spoke to someone recently. She's like, I never even knew this job existed, and all of a sudden I have it. And it's allowed me to do this and that. She said, but it was soon after I learned to let go and trust. So cultivating these friendships with the divine, that will never, never let you down. I also invite you to reach out to your friends and touch base to nurture those friendships. Not only will it be lifting the spirits of those that you get in touch with, you might be surprised at how much you've missed them and how much it lifts your spirits, especially those you haven't spoken to for a while. Friends, which is my topic for this morning. Friends, I cherish, I've known most of my life, those that I've met along the way, and those that I've yet to meet. I cannot imagine my life without my friends. And I praise God, I have them, and I praise God for our friendships in connection to the divine world. I really, really cherish that, because I just, you just feel like once you know it, you feel like you'd be lost without it. And I just say, cherish the little things, because actually, those are the big things. So I will now ask Lakrina to come forward for the